back in 2020, I gave myself a personal challenge of writing 52 stories in 52 weeks. It wasn't the first time I took the challenge on, but 2020 was the first time that I succeeded. So the challenge comes from a quote from Ray Bradbury, and Ray Bradbury basically said, you got to just write 52 stories in 52 weeks. If you write one story every single week, there's no way they're all going to be good, but there's also no way they're all going to be bad. And that whole idea of him giving me permission to write stories that would be terrible was all I needed. However, what I realized in the years that intervened is that the reason I don't think I succeeded before is because I did it without community. I sort of gave myself the challenge, maybe told a couple of people here and there that that's something that I was going to try to do. But aside from my monthly check-ins with the Staten Island Writers Group, I did not have any sort of real accountability for how I was going to take on this challenge, continue it, stay motivated, and all of that. And so each time that I tried it, I slowly wavered off and didn't complete it. So what changed in 2020? There's a loaded question. Everything? Everything changed in 2020? No, but honestly, what changed for Nicole in 2020 and this challenge? So I take on the challenge at the beginning of 2020, and I happen to have this podcast called Stop Writing Alone. And I say, you know what? I know myself. I know what's going to work. I'm going to say this out to all these people and somehow trick myself into thinking that I'm doing this for the community. Oh, I know. I will share writing prompts every single week on a YouTube channel. This way, that'll remind me that I need to write a story, but also because I have to show up for that, I will show up for myself. And I figured that's all I needed. Also, a prompt is great because if I don't know what to write that week, I've got a prompt. It'll also give me ideas of things to write about. That's how 2020 started. However, that was also the year that I wanted to do some sort of community activity, and that was the year that the Stop Writing Alone Happy Campers Club was born. I don't think that I would have completed the 52 stories in 52 weeks challenge if I did not have the Happy Campers Club and the people that I connected with through that by my side throughout the year. Because I was showing up, talking about writing with writers, growing, feeling like I wanted to write more, and having writing prompt parties on the regular, in addition to sharing the writing prompts weekly. There was just so much going on that kept feeding the writer in me that it was almost easy to do the challenge. And the thing is, I am so much better of a writer now because of it. The reason I wanted to do it is because before that year, I was getting bogged down with endings. I always came into this wanting to be like a YA novelist. I was writing these long novel length pieces, and I was getting better and better at beginnings. My voice was on point. There were things that were working really, really well about my writing, but each time I got into a project, when I got near the end, it would be a slog. It would be really, really difficult. And I knew why, because I was not getting practice doing endings. And so somewhere in my research of whatever, I popped along that quote of Ray Bradbury again, and I was like, well, that would give me a lot of practice with endings. Why don't I try it? And so that's what inspired it. And it worked. I got more practice ending stories. I got more practice starting stories with ends in mind. I got more practice revising. I got loads of practice. I'm a big believer in that 10,000 hours to mastery idea, that we can master something if we spend 10,000 focused hours on it. And I just wasn't getting the time in on all the aspects of story before I did these 52 stories in 52 weeks. And so last year, 2021, I was like, well, I can't just do the same thing. I got to do something different for the community. And so I tried to change it up with what I was doing on the YouTube channel. And I tried to change it up for myself. I said, maybe I'd just work on finding a home for my stories, getting them out there, submitting. And it just did not work for me in the same way, because I really missed showing up to story so consistently. So about halfway into the year, I was like, no matter what, in 2022, I'm going back to the 52 stories in 52 weeks. But this year, I want to bring it to the community in a way that mirrors the experience that I had. I want to make sure that when I say, let's do 52 stories in 52 weeks, I'm not just throwing prompts out into the ether, but I'm also building the community support that I had for anybody that wants to be on this journey with me. And so these plans have been bustling and growing and being built all at the end of last year. I've been looking for a home. You have no idea. And then I get sick. And then nothing can launch at the beginning of the year, which is fine. It's fine. Because as my wonderful friend Kim Floden reminded me, 52 stories in 52 weeks does not have to start on January 1st. 52 stories in 52 weeks can start at any point and end 52 weeks later. And I was like mind blown by this. I was like, what? I know you're right, but what? And so then I gave myself permission to slow down, which is why it is the end of January and we're talking about this. But it's still coming along. So here's what's going to happen. Right now, if you've been following along on the YouTube channel, that I have already started sharing the prompts for 52 stories in 52 weeks. I've also, quote unquote, started the challenge myself. I mean, whisper, whisper. I wrote one story so far. I'm very behind. Everything is slow this year. I'm sorry. So I've written my one story. I need to write 2 more to be, quote unquote, on track. But the community aspect is not there yet. So here's what's going to happen for Stop Writing Alone this year. Number 1, yes, the YouTube's up and running. Every single Friday, I'm sharing a writing prompt with you so that if you wanted to do January 1st to December 31st, 52 stories in 52 weeks, some of the support is there for you. However, what I did at the end of last year is that I bought into Mighty Networks, which is a space outside of Facebook to create a community home, really, for Stop Writing Alone that's free of data mining, free of ads, free of all the Facebook, free of the distractions, just for us to do our writing stuff, to have writers meeting writers in a space that's like free of all of that nonsense. So we're going to have a Stop Writing Alone network over there. That there's a free aspect to it, just like a regular Facebook group. And then there's going to be a group of people who really do want to commit to 52 stories in 52 weeks. And those people that want to commit, I am going to show up every single week with a writing prompt party. I am going to make available a Zoom room so that writers can open up a write-in room whenever they want. And then you'll have the space to have community conversations, if you want to have critique pairings, if you want to share work, whatever it is that you want to do in there, we will have our own private group for the people that are committed to this challenge. So that is going to officially launch in March. But everything is getting built on the back end right now for it. Tomorrow, if you're listening to this episode live, this is Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, January 28th, will be the first writing prompt party of the year. Everybody's invited. We're going to have one writing prompt party right now for January because the month is almost over, to sort of launch this idea of writing together and having year-round writing prompt parties, which I'm incredibly excited about. So everybody is invited. The link is in the show notes for the information to come to the Zoom call, which will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. And basically a writing prompt party, in case this is your first time hearing about it or coming to one, is usually, I used to say they were an hour long, but sometimes they go a little bit longer depending on how many people show up. Writing prompt party is writers show up to a Zoom room. We all hang out and chat for a bit. Then I pick a prompt, share it with the community, share it with the group, and I set a timer, usually about 15, no longer than 20 minutes, again, because we all need to read our stories. When the timer, and we write on the prompt. When the timer ends, we all read our stories aloud. That's it. It sounds terrifying. I promise. It's liberating. It is amazing. It's it's one of my favorite things that I do with any writing community, whether it's in Staten Island Writers or in Stop Writing Alone. I love all the connections that I make with writers, but I feel personally that nothing has helped me grow more as a writer than doing these consistent prompt parties where I'm writing story, vulnerably sharing that story in its first draft fiction stage. But then I'm also hearing story. I'm learning so much all the time. Just hearing how other writers tackle an idea, how other writers come to the page in that pressure cooker time. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I invite you to join us this month. There will be another one, of course, next month. And if you're signed up to the Stop Writing Alone email list, you will get that information. But that's pretty much what I'm here to announce, is that that's happening this week, but it's also something that's going to happen throughout the year on a weekly basis. And I think there is so much opportunity for growth and learning and love of story and connecting with other writers. It's kind of like all the things I love about the philosophy of Stop Writing Alone wrapped up in one meeting. And that's why I want to bring it to you. So you're invited. I hope to see you. I can't wait to write together. I'm looking forward to it. I need help to get my act together here and get my writing mojo back. I've written one story so far this year. I'm very happy with that one story, but it's been a real struggle to get my feet back under me. I do feel like I am ready and that perhaps I can step in right now with you. So hope to see you this Friday. If I don't see you at the writing prompt party, don't forget I will still be sharing a new writing prompt on the YouTube channel. That's NV Rivera on YouTube. That's where I share all of the writing prompts every single week, but also this podcast shares there. So if you like to listen to podcasts on YouTube, you have that opportunity. Otherwise, I will be back next week. There will be more interviews coming this year, more writing tips, more of everything that you love from Stop Writing Alone. And if there's something that's been missing from Stop Writing Alone that you've been really wanting to hear, let me know. Reach out to me. You can write to me at stopwritingalone@gmail.com. I also have the Stop Writing Alone on Instagram, so you can DM me over there or in the Stop Writing Alone Facebook group. For now, I'm still all over the social media, and that seems to be probably the easiest way to connect with me. If you are curious or interested in going some throwbacks, like way back when I first started Stop Writing Alone, there were many sort of call-in episodes where I would give a prompt to the community and people would write and share their story here on the podcast. If that's something that you may be interested in and perhaps getting us to write together again on air, I'd love to hear that, and maybe we can put something like that together. But anything that you are thinking about, let me know, and have a wonderful week. Happy writing. Stay healthy. Hug your loved ones. I will talk to you next Thursday.